Okay, hello and welcome to another episode of On the Game with the Wild Boar. I'm here with Ben, as always.
Hey,
So Ben, what's the news? What's been going on?
well, straight into it, Sam. No messing around.
I don't want to mess about.
Don't mess around. No messing around. No fun.
Sin lube. Let's do it.
Quantum Break, one of the big games for Xbox One, coming out 2015, has now been pushed back to 2016. I think a lot of people weren't that surprised by it because, I mean, rather cynically, people were kind of sort of saying, well, it looks like the schedule for end of 2015 is really packed for Xbox One, so maybe it wasn't that much of a surprise that it's been pushed back a bit. But coincidentally, no announcement about the TV series. I don't think people really understand how that all works, like the video part.
Yeah, I mean, we've discussed this before. Is it something you think they'll continue?
Yeah, I mean, I think they put too much money in and made too much of a big thing about it. So whether it gets released on some kind of like Microsoft Xbox Live video service, or whether it gets put onto Netflix or an actual TV channel, I don't know. Probably not the latter, to be honest. But yes, I would be very surprised if that stops, because it sounds like it's integral to the actual game. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. I mean, no idea, to be honest. I think it would be an interesting concept. There's not been any talk about, as far as I know, about how it works or anything like that. But
yeah, exactly.
I think it's it's definitely something. I mean, for me, it's there's part of me thinking, is this the first steps towards somewhere that gaming and entertainment generally might go? And I know Microsoft have been trying to push the Xbox as an entertainment unit rather than a gaming console as such, and maybe like VR might have something to do with it. I don't know, but it's just interesting to see what will happen with that.
Yeah. I mean, the game itself does look fun. I mean, especially if you've enjoyed Max Payne or anything like that in the past. It does look.
I have enjoyed all the Max Paynes.
I have enjoyed it.
I even did all those. Do you remember those mods? I did a for the Max Payne, because I had it on PC. I must have done, PC. And you could do the Matrix lobby scene. Someone did like a mod thing for that.
Oh my god, how amazing is that?
Yeah, and it was really good. It was good. But there was loads of it. They did loads of fucking Matrix shit. But yeah, Max Payne 2 was always my favorite.
Fucking Matrix shit. That's what I said. Loads of fucking Matrix shit.
Yeah. I didn't actually mind Enter the Matrix either. A lot of people hated that. And then they did The Path of Neo. Played that as well. Didn't mind that.
What was Enter the Matrix? A game?
Enter the Matrix came out at the same time as Reloaded. And
was it the animated things?
No. It's it was Reloaded was as in the second film, Matrix 2.
No. I meant Enter the Matrix, but Enter the Matrix was a game then.
Oh, sorry, yeah. So yeah, that was Animatrix. Is what
that was wicked. Some of that was great.
Yes, it was a bit hit and miss as always with those kind of compilation animation things.
Yeah.
Companimation. I've just made that up. There we go. Copyright me.
You heard it here first, guys.
But there was Enter the Matrix was, what's her name, who's married, Jada Pinkett Smith or whatever. It was to do with her her character and this Chinese guy, and it was you're doing stuff in the timeline of the second film. So and it kind of mixed in with the actual, and they actually shot footage for the game on the set. So there's loads of stuff you see. Like the famous bit was that Jada Pinkett Smith gets off with Monica Bellucci.
Ooh, hello.
Yeah, in you can probably find it on YouTube or something.
And unfortunately, lots of that footage made its way into the second and third films.
Yeah, where they kind of came back and tried to use some other footage. But what was really weird, right, is that this game came out before the second film came out, and I literally, I think I was working at a game at the time as well. So as soon as I got it, I went back and I smashed it out in a day, probably, like really, really super quick. And I remember because I got it, I was supposed to be revising all this stuff for my test, and it was on Si's GameCube. So I literally nicked his GameCube. Was like, I'm going to basically take this in the next couple of days. Yeah, it was literally sat there, played it, completed it. And what's weird is at the end of it, so you're kind of bearing in mind the second film hadn't been released. So I'm seeing stuff that's about to come out in the second film. And then at the end, it shows you what's about to happen in the third film. And this was before, this is before, I don't want to say it's before YouTube, but this is before it still took, it took like 10 to half minutes to half an hour to download like one MP3. Like it's that kind of that time. So downloading it or like watching a streaming a film just it wasn't done. So so when I saw like when I finished complete the game, I remember, and it was like there was the thing of all the end of the third film basically where Agent Smith and Neo have the massive fight through all the buildings and whatever. They were showing all bits of that, and I was like, fuck. I was like, I haven't even seen the second film, and I'm seeing everything from I'm seeing bits from the third film, which you know you haven't even thought about. So anyway, but as a game, I thought it actually worked quite well.
Neither did the writers.
No, yeah, exactly. But there was really like, it used bullet time quite well. It's like a third person shooter. Story wise, I thought it was good. I like the way that the Wachowskis actually bothered to actually shoot stuff properly for it. Do you know what I mean? Rather than shitty cutscenes or anything like that, to show actual stuff in the same style as the Matrix, sort of proper filmic shit. I thought it was really good. They really went to town on it, and it's really weird because at the end of that, is it at the end of that or Path of Neo? I can't remember. They go
tangent right now.
So yeah, I have completely. The Wachowskis go, oh, we always want. You know, because they're like, well, we didn't want to end it how the series of films actually ended, so we thought as this is a computer game, we're just going to do a big fuck off massive boss, and they did, like a massive Agent Smith, and you had to like battle him and kill him, which obviously didn't happen in the movies. But yeah, I mean, you'll probably never see that unless you go out. I don't think it's going to get an HD remaster or anything like that. But if you got a GameCube or if you want to buy one, I would recommend it. And Path of Neo, I like that as well.
Cool.
Sorry, gone off on one.
Yeah. Right, back to news. So other things. So Shovel Knight has made its way onto Xbox Live and PSN in the last few weeks. So I will be picking that up. I don't know on which platform. I have no idea. Although maybe Vita, so I can play it on the train. Yeah, maybe that. Have you got any interest in that game? No.
I don't know. To be honest, those kind of 2D platformers, without having played them, kind of merge into one for me a little bit. So unless I'll leave it, and it'll probably come up free on PS Plus or something like that, and then I might get it then.
Yeah,
but it's supposed to be good. I hear.
Yeah, and speaking of which, Rogue Legacy has also made its way to Xbox One, but I've already bought it on Vita, so I'm playing on that. It seems like the perfect kind of platform to play that kind of game on, really, to be honest. So I mean, that's what I've been doing. That's that. What were the other things? PS Plus game for June is Metal Gear Ground Zeroes.
Fuck, that's a good one.
So if you like incomprehensible plots and stealth action, then fill your boots. But yeah, that's quite a cool title to have. There's a couple of others, including something called Exploding Zoo.
What? Okay.
But whether that gives children the wrong idea, I don't know. Who the hell knows? So that's that. On the Xbox Live games for June haven't been announced. I just did a little bit of a search for it, and there's kind of wild speculation that they're going to go big this month, because the last couple of months have been a bit.
It's been dire.
Pony. Whereas PlayStation has been quite strong the last few months for free games, definitely. But some of the rumors I saw were Forza 5 and Rise Son of Rome.
It's free.
Yeah. Which would be definitely a statement of intent, wouldn't they? Especially since, we'll come on to it later, but Rise Son of Rome, you've played that. And
yeah, I liked it.
So that's that. The latest, or the next 2015 Assassin's Creed has been announced, and to nobody's surprise, it's set in London, which is great, I think. It's not called Assassin's Creed Victory, as everyone thought. It's called Assassin's Creed Syndicate. And yeah, looks entertaining enough. The guy's got a disappearing hat, which kind of disappears when he wants to look, or appears when he wants to look trendy, and then disappears when he wants to murder someone and he puts a hood on. But that's, we'll forgive them that. I'm a big critic of Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed and what they've done to it. I think, over the last few years, I think it's absolute crimes against humanity kind of status, been awful. But Maybe this one's got a chance. I don't know. Maybe that's the London bias coming out. But the one good piece of news is they have dropped multiplayer and all that kind of stuff for the game, so it is a single player focused experience.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that they've taken into account what people have said about Unity and all that, and they've really taken that to heart and tried to streamline a lot of stuff. And you know what? I haven't actually seen the trailer. I should do, but it's got like a grappling hook and all this stuff. Is that right?
There's a grappling hook. You play as two characters, or almost as a. I mean, it's not even a subtle reaction to the fact that there was a kind of mock outrage from the world, from social media and Twitter, that there was no kind of playable female character kind of thing.
Even though Liberation was...
So the very next game, right, playable female character, right, it's fine, but I suppose they have to address these concerns, but it's just very kind of obviously to appease like people whinging, which I don't think it's probably the last thing you should worry about when you've got a game that doesn't actually work properly. You should probably focus on fixing that first. Anyway, apart from that, it does look quite cool. And they've already announced the DLC, which is a big kind of gripe that a lot of people have. The game's not even announced, and they've announced what the DLC is going to be. And
to be fair, their DLC is it's just like an extra stupid side story. It's never like, there's so much to do in that game anyway.
Yeah,
exactly. The idea that
boxes and microtransactions and all this shit.
Yeah, and there's always like these optional story stuff. So the idea that there's going to be more optional stories, it's not like I feel like I'm missing out. I'm just like, I'm probably, even if you put them in the main game, I probably wouldn't do them anyway. So
I think I mean, some of the optional stuff has actually been the best in, it's been sometimes it's been the best story or best content in the game. So you can't necessarily just cancel it. But I mean, anyway, yeah, the DLC is kind of all a bit weird. So they've had like the madness of King George, where George Washington appointed himself king in America.
Yeah, I remember that.
One of them. And this one is to do with the two Charleses, Charles Darwin and Charles Dickens. I've no idea what that's about, but I'm sure we'll see.
Double D's.
Double D's. Nice. So that's that. Talking of more egregious DLC practices, Batman, whatever the latest Arkham game that's coming out, Arkham Knight, there you go. Insert Arkham reference here. That's coming out, so end of the year. They've already announced a massive DLC pack, which is the same price as the game again, so it's another like £40. It does feature a kind of separate mini playable story to do with, I'm going to get it wrong, but Batgirl or something like that.
Okay.
Or Harley Quinn, or I don't know, some character, I don't care. And then a load of challenge rooms and some additional, there's some kind of like car racing in it or something, so some additional tracks for Batmobile racing or some rubbish. So I mean, straight away, kind of just, I don't know, just get bored of these things kind of padding out their single player experience and then sort of saying, oh, guess what, here's all this DLC we haven't even released yet. Are you joking? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't mind. Like DLC for me, it's like
sometimes it can be done really well, and we'll come on to it in a bit. Not that I've played it, but as in I would have 100% confidence going into it that DLC released by, say, Irrational Games that follows BioShock Infinite would be really, really good, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because the games are of such a high standard and you don't feel like you're being gypped when you're playing it. Whereas when you're actually playing the main game like Batman or Assassin's Creed, and it's full of filler and full of stuff you don't need to do, that doesn't really advance the story or entertain you in any way, and it's just fetch quests and collecting 100 feathers or Riddler clues and all this nonsense, then you do feel like a cow being milked, basically. Like, well, I'm just jumping through hoops for no pleasure. Why the hell am I doing it? Oh, I'm going to pay more money for the same thing. No, think again. Anyway, that's that. So lots of people came out and had a go at that, quite rightly, I think. So these cynical DLC things are probably here to stay, but yeah, hey, let's keep on going against it.
Yeah.
Anyway, and in other good news, so Game of Thrones episode 4, that's out. I haven't played even episode 1.
The fuck is it out?
It's come out today or tomorrow.
It's what have people said?
I haven't seen any reviews yet. It's literally just hit. So
Okay, it's been a while since the last one.
they're coming out quite regularly, though, aren't they? I suppose.
Well, I feel like it's been a while since the third,
You up
more
to date?
than from the second to the third, or first to the second. I
You
could
up to
be
date?
mistaken. Huh?
You up to date?
Yeah, game wise. Well,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
TV wise, anyway.
Okay.
Number
Cool.
wise. Yeah, I'm. Yes, I need to do that one.
Okay, cool. And one of the last things on the news list is Farming Simulator 15. I know that's a game you've been waiting for. That's that's been released
Okay.
this week as well. So
Wow.
you can work together with your Xbox Live friends, or I don't know if other platforms are available, and you can farm.
Lucky I pre-ordered it.
What did you get with the pre-order bonus?
An extra crop, an extra vegetable seed.
Get your sister, who is also your brother, etc. That's what I'm talking about. Anyway, right, okay, cool. And then E3 coming up. So yeah, that should be interesting. But we should probably do a separate E3 show, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Let's do that closer to the time because there's always going to be that lead up of.
It's only in a couple of weeks, basically. But
yeah, we'll try and get another one in
yeah,
before that.
cool. And it's late. It's late at night, isn't it, Sam? You need to go to bed.
It's late at night now. It is. Yeah, I always need to go to bed though. That's the problem.
Maybe listening at a different time, listener. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, exactly. It depends when I can be bothered to put this up, which I guarantee you won't be tonight.
Right, cool. So, hey, what have you been playing?
What have I been playing? Well, I should say that I finally completed Sherlock Holmes: Testament of.
Which one was that?
That's the one.
That's the first one.
You reviewed for the site.
Yeah,
it's the one where it ends in the fun fair. That's not a spoiler,
okay.
don't worry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I really liked it. I mean, I highlighted a few things that annoyed me when I was playing it, but looking back, it's quite fun. It's quite a unique game. Those kind of things.
Yeah, I mean, just by the end, I just wanted it to be over. I think it was a bit too long, but also there's only so much that I can just keep walking around and pressing A until like something happens and someone I'm doing it off Xbox. And you kind of like the dialogue, it just gets so slow and like that over explaining things, and it's not like this witty quickfire banter or something like that. It's like, well, Holmes, I never thought that I would see that. Yes, well, that's it, Watson. Yeah, and I'm just like, fucking get on with it. Why are you faffing about? Especially when they're like trying to break in somewhere.
That Vine you posted was great.
Yeah, okay. If no one follows my Vine, it's what is my Vine thing? Let me check. It is. It's just Sam Legasic, apparently. So if you want to find out, then you can do. I've got 17 followers, which is awful. So
16 now.
Yeah, 16 now. Good one.
I've gone. See ya.
See ya. Yeah. But so I did that, and I'm glad. That was more just to kind of get it out of the way. I wasn't particularly bothered with that. What else I've been playing? Started. Do I want to go into this?
Before you go on, I think the second one is a significant upgrade on the first. It's a little bit kind of quicker and slicker, and you don't find yourself going around in loops as much. There's the whole way you deduce and come up with conclusions and links between the clues. It's completely different. They've kind of overhauled that entirely. Watson's still about as useful as a chocolate fire guard. I mean, he's absolutely useless. And some of the police officers are voiced by the same person who keeps on going, Mr. Holmes, and you hear that 15,000 times. But I think a game is actually really fun. I really enjoy it. But when I do cases we've just done is basically they kind of lead you to thinking one thing, and then what you can do is the option in every case is you can just proceed with, you can pretty much frame people. You can just make the evidence fit and then tell Lestrade to take someone away.
Maybe they're
not guilty, right? And I think he comes back to haunt you later, but you can pretty much do what you want. It's amazing. But you can find out what the correct answer is before you commit to the commit to the answer. So we were, 100% sure what the answer was, and pressed to get like the spoiler, and it's wrong. You're like, what the hell? So the evidence they're pointing you down towards is doesn't actually make sense. So either way, they were kind of like open ends that hadn't quite been explained. Whereas in all the other cases, once you get a certain way of looking at it, it all kind of falls into line and it makes complete sense. And then you have like, if you've got all the clues and you've interrogated the right things, then you've only got one answer really.
Yeah.
But this one was a bit confusing, so I felt a little bit gypped by that. I think it's the third case, to do with a murder in a sauna or something. But yeah, no, I'm enjoying it. It's cool. Anyway, sorry, go on.
Yeah, that's right. So I won't go into this too long because I'll probably be able to speak about it better. God, what terrible English. Next time we talk. But did a couple of hours or so of The Witcher 3,
Okay.
Which is good so far. I think I did a little bit of Witcher 2, and I remember the combat, just like I went through the tutorial, and then at the end of the tutorial, they're like, okay, just fight all these people. And I died like so quickly because I just could not remember. I could not retain anything of what they just said. And and it feels very similar, the combat, to the Witcher 2 combat. So, but I feel like the tutorial lesson was a bit better for a start. And also, since I've started playing it, it's already naturally felt better, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But again, it's really early days, so I'll probably be able to talk about it a bit more later on. But so far, so good.
Cool.
Is it something you think you'd play?
I'm tempted, but it sounds such a long kind of game that I'm kind of a bit wary. That I still got kind of intentions to go back and finish Skyrim, to be honest.
Right.
So maybe
I've never done any of the Elder Scrolls properly.
Yeah, exactly. But I do kind of want to finish it. But yeah, I am tempted, but not just yet anyway.
Yeah. I think for me, which is going to be my kind of ongoing background game, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Whilst I do all the other stuff, and as they come out as and when it's like the 6 to 8 hour kind of, maybe 8 to 10 hours, probably these days. I'll do those, but I think The Witcher 3 is something that will just keep bubbling away for a while.
Cool.
But it's good. So the other, what I've been playing, I'm coming up to the end, I think, anyway, of The Order, 1886.
Okay, yeah, sure.
What
do you think?
What's that?
What do you think?
What do I think? Okay, firstly, I know everyone said this, but it does look fucking great. Like, it's absolutely gorgeous to look at.
Other than
that, to be honest, I really thought it was going to be terrible, and it's not terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible either. The main issues being, it's true, like it's cutscene after cutscene after cutscene. A lot of the times you're just pressing up or something on the stick, or like one button, and there is a lot of that, which is obviously been a stylistic choice for them or whatever they've done. But it totally doesn't feel like a game. Saying that, and also the shooting mechanics and all this stuff is quite clunky. I find myself snapping to boxes to cover and then not being able to get off of cover, or not being able to find the cover. And sometimes he just out and out doesn't go into any kind of cover, and you're just dead. And it's so that stuff like that, you feel like with a game that looks so great, like shit, that isn't that like simple, simple ironing out detail stuff.
Shouldn't have been picked up in like QA.
Yeah, because that's the thing as well. It's not as if there's a million things going on, and it's like, oh, we've got so much, so you kind of accept that, okay, sometimes little things fuck up, whatever. But with this, because it's like the actual gameplay itself is just so small and limited, and to be honest, there's not that much you have to do apart from it's just cover and shoot and move forward and tap a QTA or whatever, QTE. You'd think that they'd be able to get that simple thing straight, and they don't. So that's a real fucking flaw. And also, it's really self-indulgent in the way that you can go around and pick stuff up, right? So you pick something up and it says, press L to turn it around in your hand. You're like, okay. And you're thinking like sometimes you might read something and it goes, press triangle to look at the reverse. And you're like, okay. And for ages, I was picking stuff up, spending ages like pressing L in all the directions, turning it around. And I'm like expecting to see like a message or something, like in Uncharted or whatever, where like on the other, you see a secret on the back or something like that. And it unlocks a little bit of history. Is that Uncharted? Team Raider, I think, did it as well. I can't remember. And you think it's something like that, but it's not. It's just like, hey, look at this. You're like,
What,
okay.
just like for the sake of looking at a plate?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck that.
Well, maybe I've got that wrong. Maybe I'm just not trying hard enough. But to me, it's just like, what am I doing? I'm wasting time just picking things up.
Oh, it sounds dire. It sounds absolutely dire.
But the thing is, it's like, it does look really good. And also it's in game as well. Like the cutscenes are using, as far as I know, engine.
Yeah, but
And
go on rails and it's so kind of prescribed. Like literally in cutscenes, you're only walking down an alley and you can barely even like stop to smell the roses. You just have to kind of walk forward.
Yeah.
Then,
But there's an element like, we were joking about this in an earlier podcast about how I like to be directed.
Oh yeah, you love it.
Yeah, I love it. But this is that taken to the extreme, whereby like I'm forcing myself to kind of look around and look at stuff because it does look great.
Well,
but
that's the thing that it's another game that you've played and I recently just finished. But Rise: Son of Rome is similar to that in the sense of there's not really much to go and explore. There's a few bits to kind of have a look and try and find these shields or little books and things, but they do give you a little bit of history or something. But because there's not that many cutscenes, they like before a big boss battle, start and finish of a mission, right? You don't feel like you're kind of pointless. You're actually doing something with it, and it's this kind of player agency thing that everyone was sort of saying the Order does completely lacks, and that's exactly what it sounds like from what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean I'd never keep hold of it. Like as soon as I'm done with this, I'll hand it in. But I wouldn't say that I can't remember how much I paid for it, but I didn't pay full price by any means. I think I paid like 15, 20 quid or something, but maybe 25, I can't remember. But it was, I'd be loath to pay like 40 or 50 or whatever quid for something like this. What I'm paying, the 20 quid mark is fine. It looks great and it does still play, and it is still like a half decent shooter or something in terms of it's not broken or anything like that. And it's not exciting. And also, like, I do like the setting. I really like the setting and the characters and the whole thing around it. It just felt like it just feels so superficial, and it feels like they could have done so much with it. And it doesn't feel open. It feels so closed, and like, I don't know, just it doesn't feel right. But I mean,
just absolutely
in the same breath, yeah, in the same breath, like I'd still say, like the fact of the matter is, apparently it's really super short. I mean, I think I'm coming to the end now anyway, but it's worth doing in such a short time frame as well. Even if you just thought of it as like a fucking tech test or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's on my list, so I'm tempted just to sort of have my own view kind of thing, but it's definitely not a high priority.
No, but it's worth, like, honestly, it's worth playing just to kind of see the graphics. Itself is good. But yeah, what else have I been playing? So that's the Order. So Miami Hotline 2. Have you played it at all?
No, that's one of my it's one of the games I've been playing, but Hotline Miami 1, I never really kind of got around to actually getting on it and progressing past the first mission or two.
Okay.
So yeah, I've been playing a little bit of that, and yeah, it's really enjoyable. I mean, it can be kind of really frustrating, but I probably.
You saying 1 or 2?
1. I probably did several hours of a recent flight to just kind of just absolutely get rid of it. But yeah, it was cool. I
So 1 is fucking great. It's amazing. 2 is not terrible, but really massively disappointing. one, because it's trying to, everything that felt new and fresh and exciting about the first one, you've in the second one you've seen before, so it automatically obviously loses that novelty value. Story wise, okay, I kind of see where they're going with this a little bit, but I like the way the first one had this really weird meta story, but this it just feels like really long. But the difficulty is pretty goes ramped up, like to the point where, like, during the first one, it was always like every time I died, and I died a lot, I would each time like learn something. So, and it, because you got snapped in pretty quick, so it was always never that frustrating, because you think, right, I've learned something from, like, subconsciously this is anyway, I've learned something from this, so I can get a bit further next time. I know where this guy is or what I have to do here or whatever. But with this, sometimes you will just die, but like the room, I mean, the rooms are pretty big and you can lock onto people and all this stuff and whatever, but instead of it being like corridors and trying to like sneak your way through, like it feels like every level has like a big hall, and like, and some of them it's turned into more like a puzzle game whereby you have to figure out what order and how to kill each enemy.
A bit like that in the first one. I mean,
it is, but more so here.
Cool.
Like, for instance, there's a level where it's a corridor. How do I describe this? So you've got a corridor horizontally, and then in the middle of that, it's got like a tiny little space at the top and a tiny little space at the bottom running vertically. And you've got a big guy and people with guns patrolling. Now, bearing in mind, as soon as anything sees you, you're fucking dead. And it was really difficult to figure out how to kill them without getting killed. And it took me fucking ages to figure it out, until I realized it was like, you have to throw your gun at one, go pick up this one, kill that one, and all this stuff, and you can do it. But it took me ages. And there was times where I was just like, I don't think I can do this one. Like, I do not know how I've done. And then within like 10 minutes, you've cracked it and you're on to the next bit. But there was one bit, for instance, where there's a level where for each floor, you're a different character. You can't choose another character. You get given a character, and it's a different character for each floor, and they have different abilities. And I got to the end of that, and then all of a sudden, bang, it crashed. I was like, fuck, what's happened? Then I went back, reloaded my save, and I was right at the beginning of that level. And I was like, that was like an hour and a half or something. I don't know, it probably wasn't that long. It's probably like an hour or something. It took me to get to that point, and I could have smashed it on the floor. I was so angry, but luckily, because it was still fresh in my mind, I was able to smash through it again. But I haven't taken my finger out for ages, just because whereas in the first Miami Hotline, it felt really addictive. I was going through to each level. The story was really good. I wanted to know what was happening. And each level felt like it was something cool and new to figure out. And with this, it's just like, ugh, like, what are they going to put me through now? Like, what like horrible level is about to come up? What stupid design? Yeah, I just think they fucked up, basically.
Oh, really?
To be honest, yeah. Like, I'll still play it, but like, I loved the first. I think I gave it like a 9 out of 10. This one, it's like, unless it really snaps me back at the end, I'd probably give it like a 5.
All right. Wow. Okay.
And so you're thinking that's almost half. And then I've literally got, I think that's right, in the fact that I've got probably about half the enjoyment, if not less, I should say, out of it. So yeah, it's a real shame. I would still say, if you like the first one, get it, because it's more of the same. But I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't finish it.
Okay.
So yeah, I've been playing that. I'm just going to kind of rattle these off now. So the Dead Rising 3, I played some of that. I know you don't like zombie stuff, but I am like, I've done all the Dead Risings, none of the DLC, just the main canon shit. And it is absolutely amazing how many zombies you can pull out of an Xbox One in that game. It is impressive. And so far, it's pretty much like the other Dead Rising. So if you like that, you'll like this, but you haven't got the hassle of like having to escort people back to the base or anything like that. Well, it doesn't look like it anyways whilst I've been playing it. So they've made it a much more streamlined, faster experience. So I've been quite enjoying playing that. What else have I been doing? And the only other one, which is on my phone, and I'm getting a bit obsessed with it, is, I don't know how to say it, Hearthstone.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And I really, really enjoy that. And it's like, I'm not into Worldcraft. Well, is it Worldcraft?
Well, it's a card. It's made by the same people, but
Yeah,
it's a card game, isn't it?
yeah. And I didn't think I'd like it. I just thought, fuck it, I'll get it. And I do. I really, and it's, finding other people to play with is super quick. You can do like an offline thing. The only thing is that to get any of the half decent cards, you need to put up some actual cash. Yeah, which is you can do enough little missions and side things, whatever, to get like a basic pack. But it feels to me like if you want to get the cards you want, or you're gonna have to pay out a little bit. But I think that's it. I think that's what I've been playing.
Cool.
So yeah, what have you been
doing? So yeah, Hotline Miami, been doing that. It's quite cool. Rise, we've discussed most of these, but to be fair, well, there's only 4. Rise, Son of Rome. Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it. It was on the rental list, thinking, oh yeah, we'll see what it's like. I've heard it. If nothing else, it's actually, a really good looking game, and it is, especially for a launch title. It looks amazing. Normally, launch titles aren't really very much more than just kind of tech demos, are they? It's a little bit more advanced than that, to be fair to it. And yeah, it's enjoyable. I mean, is what it is. It's just like button mashing chaos, but the story's relatively enjoyable. It doesn't take that long to do. It's relatively simple. It's like, as I'm writing a review at the moment for the site, but as I'm kind of explaining in that, it's nice. In a kind of inverse way. Normally, it's nice to these days, I think, just have a story that's just relatively simple and just go through, not necessarily like as in the twists and the turns, but as in you're not standing there wasting your time picking stuff up and finding little hidden collectibles and all this shit. It's just simple. There's only one way to go. You just do the story. Fine, done, next. Fantastic. So quite enjoyed it. The main thing I played, finally got around to Bioshock Infinite.
I love it.
So 2 years late, that's fine. It was sitting there on my desk, and I thought, all right, I've got basically, I just want to kind of pack away the old consoles now, because there's no point to really having them around.
Yeah.
On the in the living room. Wow, what a game!
It's great, isn't it?
I mean, if you haven't played it, get on it. Not you, but you people. Those guys.
People who listen.
These guys. Oh my god, it's fucking fantastic. I mean, I had a couple of little gripes with it, but they're not really anything kind of game breaking. I mean, I don't think the combat is maybe as fun as the original Bioshock. If I'm honest, I don't think the figures are quite as fun as the kind of plasmids.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I think some of them are quite hard to kind of actually use in anger, and a lot of the trap things were just, they were nice to have, but they never kind of really worked in practice. People didn't seem to run at you in that kind of sense. I don't know, it never kind of worked out for me. But that said, some of the weapons are really enjoyable. Some of the vigors are really cool, and just, I mean, the story, that's really what you're playing a Bioshock game, and the kind of world creation, the art, the narrative, all of that kind of stuff that's there. It's oh wow, it's just, it's mind-blowing. It's fantastic.
Did you do the burial at sea?
No, I haven't done that. So that's kind of what I was alluding to earlier with the
yeah
DLC. So
it's worth doing.
Be quite confident that was good based on the strength of Bioshock Infinite. I didn't see the plot twists coming. I didn't see the ending. I didn't see how that was all going to kind of tie together. I had an inkling of like a couple of the different strands, but not how it was all actually going to work out. And I won't go into spoilers, but how how it all kind of works out at the end. Yeah, just great, and it's a pleasure to play a game like that.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, I mean, and weirdly enough, I played my version of the game is still in its cellophane disc, because Xbox Live gave a free version out a couple of months back, so I played that.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I love that game. It's
What did you
brilliant.
think of that? You hadn't reviewed it, so this is why I took it upon myself to
Did I
do
not?
one. I don't think so. I might be wrong.
No, I did. I
Oh, you
must have
did.
done.
Oh,
Pretty
you
sure I
did. You
did.
definitely did one for Buried at Sea.
Yeah, I definitely did that. I'm pretty sure I did Bioshock Infinite as well.
Okay. Well, I must have missed that.
Yeah, I mean, mate, yeah, loved it. Really, I liked it. Story-wise, I liked it better than the first.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, like I'm obsessed with like parallel dimensions and time travel, even though it's kind of not time travel, but it kind of is, and all this. So yeah, and I just thought it was, I really was a bit hesitant. I remember before I went in thinking, oh, but I loved the whole like Rapture setting and its underworld, and it's all like kind of claustrophobic and all this stuff and dark, as opposed to like the bright lights of the sun and skies and all that. But yeah, just like relentless fucking action and narrative and really well paced. Yeah, I kind of loved it. That was like one of my favorite, if not my favorite game of that year. Incredible.
Yeah, it's so good. I mean, I'm not sure about both. I mean, in terms of both stories, if you wanted to pick them apart, not that you would, but as in if you wanted to pick them apart, I'm not sure that they kind of both. I mean, yeah, in with the first one, I was always a little bit. Maybe I've completely missed it, but I was a little bit confused about exactly how he was.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I have to read
Something
things afterwards.
I'd have to kind of recap. But then with Bioshock Infinite again, there was a couple of like bits where it was like, right, okay, what? But yeah, it's just so good, and like the ideas involved are just fantastic, and it's just yeah, love it, love it. Well, did you play both the Burials at Sea, or are there two of them?
Yeah, both of them, two of them.
Okay.
Yeah, they're good. I mean, obviously, you have to have completed both Bioshock 1 and 2, which you have now, obviously.
I
But
haven't done two.
oh, sorry, you know what I mean. But sorry, Bioshock
Oh,
and Bioshock Infinite.
okay, cool.
Though to be honest, I didn't mind Bioshock 2. I know it's different people and all this
Yeah, I
stuff.
heard it's good. I just never got around to it.
Yeah, it wasn't great. I mean, it felt like a bit like, oh, I'm back here, but as a big daddy. But I did like it. It was cool. But yeah, Burial at Sea is good. I remember the first episode being better than the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's good. Well worth playing. They're only a couple of hours each.
Yeah, it's cool, and I think the thing that kind of sets Infinite apart from one. I mean, I prefer the world of one. I mean, even though it's probably more kind of horror gothic than Columbia, but it's Rapture is just so kind of atmospheric. It's just ridiculous. But I think I think Infinite kind of that's where by the original Bioshock has an edge, but I think Infinite has an edge probably because of Elizabeth, the AI companion, the main kind of person of the plot kind of thing. I think that's just, I mean, it's just fantastic. Like the well acted, well drawn, well written. Basically, it's just
Yeah. I mean, she really felt like a real character, not just a normal.
yeah, and she's not useless. No, she's actually
Yeah,
quite
that stuff.
quite useful in the actual game, in the context. And yeah, anyway, right, enough of that. It's fantastic. Play it if you haven't. You're an idiot.
What else?
Cool. And then that's that. So the other thing I've just recently picked up since having dropped it since February is Destiny, and you're going to groan now. There, groan.
No, well, I've got Destiny now, so me and Ben have been playing a little bit together.
While have we? But so the new DLC pack is out as of last week, so Tuesday. House of Wolves. I'll put a review up on the site. I haven't worked my way through everything it's got yet, so I've worked my way through the plot and the story and the new strike and that that it's got. I haven't done the kind of what they're calling the Prison of Elders, which is effectively the kind of horde or firefight mode, which is in place of a new raid. Now, lots of people are kind of whinging about they wanted to do raid. I mean, raids are kind of simultaneously the best and worst things in Destiny, like the Vault of Glass, the first raid. Now that it's kind of been fixed and people know the rules, it's probably one of the most adventurous pieces of game or adventurous things released in a game for 10 years probably. It's just it's a bit bonkers really, to be honest, that they've kind of thought of how that all works. But the second raid, Crota's End, that was released kind of end of the year, that's it's broken. There are so many cheeses, ways to cheat the system, that it kind of ends up being just a chore to get through, and it's just boring, kind of standing there waiting for people to disconnect, and it's just not a fun thing to do, I don't think. So I can see why they haven't released it, because invariably if they release a raid, then people end up trying to cheese it for months, trying to find ways around the actual doing the game properly, kind of thing. And also by not adding a raid, and by adding this new mode, firefight, Prison of Elders, that they're kind of adding something that wasn't in the game. So I think a lot of people liked Horde, and anyone that's played Gears of War would like Horde, or anyone that's played ODST would like Firefight, that kind of thing. So hopefully that lives up to the standards that those two games delivered. So that's cool. But most importantly, something that I have experienced is the way that they've actually addressed a lot of the what would you say, the criticism on the game, basically. So previously, the only way, each time they release a DLC, or when they released the first DLC, the level cap raises, and the only new way to hit the new level cap is to do the raid, get the raid armor, and then max that out, and then everyone looks the same. But also, kind of everything you've ever owned before is immediately kind of redundant. You're never going to use it again. Why did you bother? All that kind of stuff. So it kind of makes you feel cheated. And also, if you had a kind of look going that you spend a lot of time as your guardian kind of thing, you're trying to sort of a little bit like role play kind of thing. You just want the guy to look cool. But you have to use one set of armor in order to hit their level cap. Well, they've kind of divorced the two now. So pretty much any piece of armor can be ascended via certain materials. So they've made it the materials, the upgrade materials, are the hard things to get rather than the armor itself. So you can pretty much do any armor that you've had in the game from either of the raids or bought or any of the new story modes and everything, you can ascend. So it gives you instantly, kind of opens the playing field to anybody. It's more about your willingness to work to get to that level rather than your luck to get the right drops and to do the raid and to find people to do the raid with you and all this kind of shit that was kind of not really related to playing the game.
Yeah.
So cool. I mean, I think that's a really, really good step forward, and yeah, I think that's absolutely crucial, and I'm glad they've done it, really, to be honest.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, review incoming on that at some point.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
look forward to it. Yeah, I've got some movie reviews I've got to put up.
I saw Mad Max last night.
Oh fuck, mate, loved it.
Fuck.
It was like literally, I was pretty much jizzing for like 2 hours. Just over that.
I definitely noticed the periods of silence in that. Like when in between, there's 2 or 3 points where it just kind of faded to black.
Yeah, slows down a little bit,
and you just went silent. And oh my god, do you notice it? It's like you can just hear your ears ringing, and you're suddenly like,
yeah.
Oh wow, what is this? What is this beautiful sound? Yeah, it's pretty full on, isn't it?
Yeah, really full on. I think that's the perfect way to describe it. But I can understand if people are just like, oh, it's just, I mean, it is just one big action scene, really. But I'm like, one of the best action scenes ever, right? I don't know. It's just kind of like, it's all the stuff that I really fucking love, like rolled into one film. And yeah, man, love it. But yeah, I'll be putting up. See, the thing, I've seen so many films recently, and I've like, I'll try and do this with the Soggy Popcorn thing, but like I went to a screening of Tomorrowland, which was pretty shit. I watched It Follows, which was okay for a horror film. Very strange tone. Yeah, Mad Max, which is brilliant, and I think that's all I've seen actually. Maybe I saw Age of Ultron, which was okay. So
I
don't listen to Soggy Popcorn anymore because I'm just giving you the.
I quite enjoyed that. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
A little bit morose though, wasn't it? The film, The Age of Ultron, is a little bit morose. Like everyone's kind of like down on their luck. Well, not down on their luck, but just not happy with their lot, kind of. And everyone's like, "Oh, I don't want to be an Avenger anymore."
Yeah.
It's only one film in. Oh, I'm bored of this. Okay.
Well, it will tap. Well, the reason why I'm not going to do any spoilers, but because I'm a comic geek and I'll probably talk about this more in Soggy Popcorn. But
it's Civil War.
Yeah, it's about to come into Civil War, which is, if no one knows, I mean, maybe don't listen to it if you don't want to, but it's essentially the Civil War thing was a period of comics. I think it's mid-90s, where was it mid-90s, maybe, or mid-2000s? I can't remember. Where basically there's so much destruction, superheroes are doing fucking destroying everything. They put on a police kind of thing, which Iron Man leads, and they kind of hinted at that. Whereas he's like, I just want to, I don't want us to keep doing this forever, kind of thing. And the whole point of Ultron being this like defender and stuff. So it's kind of leading towards this way of thinking. And anyway, it's against Captain America, who like leads the rebel assault or whatever. Who like, no, we're superheroes and we're going to keep doing this because we've got to. And I won't ruin how it ends. Like one massive event happens at the end of it, and it just makes everyone take stock of like what they're actually doing. And and you see like a really dark part of Iron Man. So I'm quite looking forward to that. If they do it right.
What's Robert Downey Jr.'s? Is he leaving? Is he going to stop being Iron Man? That's something I don't understand because I saw a lot of.
He signed up for like 10 films or something, 10 appearances.
Okay.
Something stupid like that.
That idiot, what's his name? Chris Guru Murthy or whatever, was constantly like banging on about, you've got demons in your past and so is your character. It's like gave him a load of shit about it, and then he just got up and walked off. Like, I mean, rightly so.
Channel 4 thing you're saying?
Yeah.
That guy's like that. Like, I used to respect him as a news guy and interviewer or whatever, but it's just like I think he's getting to that almost desperate part of his career where he's like, maybe I just need to fucking shake things up a bit. But it's like it's like you're not having a deep one-to-one thing like they do in America or something where it's like revealing his demons. This is a press junket for the fucking film.
Have you not seen the
Tarantino one?
Thing? It's absolutely amazing. It's like,
that?
Have you not seen it?
What?
The Tarantino one.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen the Tarantino one.
It's basically sort of saying, let me tell you what this is. This is to promote my movie. If you're not going to talk about it, I'm going to shut your butt down.
Yeah, and too right. It's like they're not there to do that. They've been saying this. They're there to do this all the time, promote the film. It's not like you are able to interview me. I'm gonna, that those kind of interviews are prearranged or set up, or they go into chat shows for certain ilk or something like that. You can't just come into a fucking press junket and start pushing people's buttons and then going like, oh, what, when they get upset. It's like they've been sitting here for like 6 hours saying the same fucking shit again and again for your fucking to promote the film, obviously, yes, but also for your fucking channel, because we can't give you the general shit. You have to have your own special one for each fucking broadcaster, where you're sitting there. It's for your fucking benefit. Otherwise, you just do one interview and just send it around to everyone. And this guy's like, so tell me about your fucking drug and alcohol past. It's like, oh, okay, if you got the next like hour, no, you have like 3 or 4 minutes. You're in and you're out. Bam, you can't fuck about. That's why when he was like,
why would you even want to talk about that though? Like,
because he's just shaking things up. It's just, that's it. Like, if you go into things like that, they are literally like, right, you've got like 5 minutes, something like that. And that's why when he was asking the questions at first, Downey Jr. was like, it's your time. You ask what you want, kind of thing. If you don't want to have your stuff to use about the film, then fine. Fucking bollocks, man. If I was Downey Jr., I'd be pissed off. So who the fuck is this guy to come in? Like, I don't want to talk about it. Like, ask me about it. I don't have to fucking answer. Like, imagine if someone just comes up and just like starts prodding you about your personal life and all this, and like, it's like in no way is this loosely related to the film. It's not as if it's like I'm playing like a drug-addled. I'm playing Iron Man. You fucking spastic. Like, he's a superhero. Anyway. I shouldn't say spastic. Sorry, that's really bad.
But anyway, yeah, cool. Hey, that guy, he's great. Let's see what PR disaster he comes up with.
Yeah, see how many enemies he can make in Hollywood when no one likes him anyway.
Thing is, yeah, exactly.
Or knows who he is.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's how he carries on. Who
Idiot.
was it? Who annoyed you? I don't know. Oh, okay. Let it slide then.
Let it slide. Who's he talking to? His guru, his life guru.
Talking to, I don't know. Whatever. Okay.
Someone. Okay. I think we've. I'm going to have to go. So I think this podcast has officially come to an end. So as always, you can click over to thewildboar.com. That's BORE.com, The Wild Boar, where you can talk about more gamings, talk about gaming stuff. Oh, Far Cry 4, played that. One word, meh. You can follow us on Twitter at The Wild Boar UK. Email us, wildboartv@gmail.com. With any questions or anything like that. And I hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll try not to leave it too long for the next one. But yeah, thanks very much for listening. Thanks.
See ya.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.